Hey, it's Sonic the Hedgehog, issue number 12, specifically my review. I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I'm happy to have you here. We have come to the follow-up, the epilogue of the showdown with Metal Sonic, who was leading the remnants of the Eggman Empire against the remnants of the Resistance. Now, we have Tails basically reactivating Metal Sonic, having, mostly repaired him to a certain degree in order for Sonic to basically give Metal Sonic a choice. Now, not being stupid, he didn't fully bring back online all of Metal Sonic's capabilities, but he wanted to give Metal Sonic a choice. Maybe to just go off and do his own thing and live his own life. Now, a lot of people around have been saying how this was a bad decision, this was out of character, this didn't make a lot of sense, but it depends on where you take this from. Because in terms of where Ian Flynn is coming from, Metal Sonic has time and time again has shown that he has the capacity for more. Every Metal Sonic has shown that they have the capacity to live a different life, do better things if given the chance. In terms of animation, we have the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, not the one about to come out, but the previous one that was the OVA, where Sonic had seen the potential for good in Metal Sonic previously, and actually tried to extend his hand in order to save Metal Sonic, where Metal Sonic smacked it away, declining Sonic's help, declaring Sonic the true Sonic, and letting himself burn. And even in terms of the games, there have been times where Sonic has just spared Metal Sonic. We've never truly seen Sonic outright destroy Metal Sonic in the games. He's defeated Metal Sonic, but never really destroy him. And I feel that this moment comes from previous game moments as well, like no less than Sonic Heroes, where he just says, Metal Sonic, next time you want to face against me, I'm ready for you anytime, and he just runs off and just leaves Metal Sonic there to just do whatever. And even the likes of Sonic Rivals, I think it was, Metal Sonic showed the potential to be more. If you played that game, Shadow and Metal Sonic actually had a bit of a bond there. Where Metal Sonic did a few things that showed that he was a little bit more than just a robot. And even in Sonic Free Riders, Metal Sonic showed that he wanted to just compete against Sonic, just to prove that he was the fastest. And Sonic was up to the challenge, just ready to race against him. Sonic time and time again in a lot of media has shown no true malicious intent towards Metal Sonic, despite Metal Sonic's own malicious intent. So this moment is not completely unfounded, but I understand anyone who looks down on this moment because it does seem like a bad call, all things considered. But Sonic has such a track record of taking down Metal Sonic that I could also see him just being like, whatever, I'll just take you down again next time. So there's all plethora of reasons. But Metal Sonic just smacks away Sonic's hand and goes racing off, and Sonic just says, hey, I gave him a choice to live the way he wants to live. It's his call now, which is a very honorable thing, honestly. And honestly, they didn't know. They assumed that Metal Sonic really doesn't even have anywhere else to go. If he just shuts down somewhere, then oh well, there's no one to really go out and repair him or fix him up. The Eggman Empire's done for as far as they know. Where we see Dr. Starline has tried his best in order to resurrect the memories of Dr. Eggman from the Tinkerer. And we even get some backstory where we see that Dr. Starline had used his, warp topaz, which we learn about later, in order to get Rough and Tumble out of jail to kind of be his enforcers for the most part. His muscle. Starline's the brains, Rough and Tumble are the muscle. Because they want, Rough and Tumble were promised weapons from Dr. Eggman, and Dr. Starline is seeking out Eggman's knowledge to further his own research. But they've had no success in recalling Eggman's memories, even with the arrival of, Eggman's number 1 and 2 lackeys, Orbot and Cubot. Just nothing clicks until Metal Sonic arrives, and seeing Metal Sonic damage, something that, Eggman has repaired Metal Sonic time and time and time again. That's a very constant thing throughout Eggman's career. He recalls all these memories, and it just all comes flooding back. That was the trigger he needed in order to resurrect the mind of Dr. Eggman. And Dr. Starline immediately puts himself in the services of Eggman, ready to just be at his beck and call and get his internship, as he calls it, underway. Meanwhile, Eggman sets about repairing Metal Sonic, getting ready to just sick him back on Sonic yet again. Meanwhile, Rough and Tumble introduce themselves, and the one thing that Eggman immediately thinks is, what a bunch of doofuses, but as soon as he learns they hate the Hedgehog, he's all over making them some weaponry. When Dr. Starline talks about his warp topaz, however, it bends space and time, very much like a warp ring, which has driven a lot of people to relate him to Dr. Finitivus, who had the warp ring technology and very good in experimentations and stuff along those nature. And the unfortunate thing is, Ian has gone on record saying that Dr. Starline was not inspired as a kind of Finitivus clone, and he had actually planned to have him introduced with 2 other characters, but things didn't quite work out. And, because of that, his role in things doesn't quite align with everything else and just gives him the impression of a Dr. Finitivus clone, but, a lot of things about him just scream Dr. Finitivus, which isn't a bad thing on my part. Dr. Finitivus, there were 3 characters out of Ian Flynn's run who were breakout characters in these original Archie series that he, worked on. And that was Finitivus, the evil doctor who was a nemesis of Knuckles, Scourge, the literal evil doppelganger of Sonic, his opposite of in every way, and Shard, the Metal Sonic, who was a, Metal Sonic who had defected and had basically come into his own, the original Metal Sonic who had evolved and changed over time. And even when we had that slight reboot of the series, you had characters like, Eclipse, who was what Shadow was, just if you had taken out the fact that Shadow looks like a hedgehog, and that was an interesting angle. So, Ian has a noticeable thing for creating these interesting rivals to certain characters, or doing an interesting twist on certain characters. It's not always hits the mark, but it's always fascinating to see. Creating fun and interesting characters is very much his thing, along with the team that he works with, like Tracy Yardley, Leah Baker, Evan Stanley. All of them just work very well at creating very interesting characters for the Sonic mythos. And Starline is, he's very interesting. I'm interested to see where he goes, because there's so much potential from here on out, with him even having collected all the Chaos Emeralds in order to get his apprenticeship underway. Meanwhile, we see Sonic basically kind of like in the end of an RPG, where it's just like farewell to all the people we've met along the way and stuff like that. Sonic goes around just checking in on the various characters as a bit of a tease for what they'll be doing following this moment in the comics. Whereas protect the Master Emerald, which is his usual thing. This has always been a thing in the games where it was like he protects the Master Emerald no matter what, and then later stuff he just started going off and doing his own thing and, doing whatever with Sonic and the gang up until when he joined the Resistance and even became head of the Resistance. But, the question always remains, what about the Master Emerald? It's unguarded, isn't it? What are you doing about the Master Emerald? And so he's decided to just stick around and, stay with the Master Emerald, even going as far as to say from here on out, Eggman Empire's done, now Sonic is trash, the Resistance is unneeded, thus disbanded. Get off my island. Usual Knuckles affairs. So, always feels like one step forward and two steps back with Knuckles. Like he makes so much progress only to slip back into his usual thing, which, tends to be a thing with certain video games. Meanwhile, Amy, who has very much developed on her own, has become a very competent leader, an organizer, a strategist. Like, I love the Amy of this series because she embodies, well, Sally Acorn, honestly. Which is an unfortunate comparison to make, but it's not unfounded, as her Sonic Boom's incarnation was very much like this as well. So, consider that a prototype for the IDW Amy Rose, where unfortunately Sonic has the unfortunate role of passing along the bad news that Knuckles has decided to disband the Resistance. Which Amy's just like, that's so irresponsible. The Resistance had been doing so much in order to help out so many people and completely remove all the remnants of Eggman's forces, but it's just to leave it up in the air like that, it's just like, what the hell, Knuckles? And this especially comes into play when the Chaotix, work for hire, being that they are, come in to get their payment for their services, which Amy isn't quite prepared for, unfortunately. Meanwhile, with our newer characters, Tangle and Whisper, apparently they've been getting on fairly well, with Tangle not quite wanting to go home specifically, wanting to go out and adventure a little more, doing her own thing, finding that she has a knack for this whole superhero life kind of thing. And considering how marketable she's been, even nowadays, her being one of the most breakout characters of the IDW series, of course we're going to see more of her, even maybe her own miniseries. IDW likes to do stuff like that with popular characters. With her even, apparently having some jokes shared between her and Whisper, who immediately kind of retreats into herself as soon as it's brought up. So, a very introverted nature, and, it's a nice team up here with an extreme outrovert and an extreme introvert who seem to just be bonding to a certain degree. Speaking of two very close characters, we have the characters of Blaze and Silver, who have always been kind of paired together, ever since we first saw them together in Sonic 06, the hated, despised name that it may be, with Blaze saying that she'll see everyone back home, before she returns the Soul Emeralds to the Soul Dimension, because, gotta be protected, not quite safe in a world that's so hostile at times. But Silver is going to stick around. The metallization threat that is plaguing his future hasn't quite been solved, where it stems from, so he wants to stick around and find as much about it as he can, with Sonic saying he'll help in any way that he can when need be. Rouge, however, is just ready to go back, doing her own thing, back into the spy business and all that good stuff, especially observing Knuckles' Master Emerald, ready to take a go at that whenever possible. And as they depart off the island, Tails is just like, hey, we'll always be together, adventuring, having fun, all that good stuff, all that good jazz. Always ready to have fun. Meanwhile, Eggman is ready for his next plan and plot, completely discarding anything that Metal Sonic really had going. And it's just like, that's done, it's over with, it's old news. You, Starlin, I'll keep in charge of keeping Sonic distracted until I'm ready for my next plan. Which we come to find out after we see Rough and Tumble have gotten the schematics for their new weapons to be a thorn in Sonic's side as soon as possible. Eggman shows off this diagram of what looks to be a virus of sorts, which very well might be. Ooh, I say words good. Very well might be the metallization virus that he has going on. This is a harkening back to the roboticization thing of the, Sonic lore of old, where, in the games he would trap animal critters in robotic shells, but in the comics and the TV shows, he'd full-on turn people into robots, which was very intense from time to time. But overall, this was a very fun little issue. Just seeing everything just wind down, getting all of our players back into good starting positions to see where they'll go from here on out. Just getting some information as to what each character will be doing from here on out until we meet them next go round. And I know as far as some synopses that the next issue will feature a showdown with Rough and Tumble with Sonic and Tails, so that'll be fun. But, got things back to the starting line. We can start anew and really kind of dive into some interesting stories and shenanigans and some nice, fun times. But tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. How did you feel about this story arc overall? Do you feel that Metal Sonic should have done more? Are you disappointed that we kind of went in a Sonic Heroes kind of retread to a certain degree? Do you feel that maybe Dr. Eggman should have had his amnesia just a little bit longer? Do you feel that it came back a little too quickly? Are you disappointed that we're going to be dealing more with the original characters of the IDW series, Rough, Tumble, and Dr. Starlin from here on out? Or did you feel like you had wanted Eggman to really just come back full force? I mean, the downside there is that can get pretty old very quickly if it's just a repeat every month. But it was fun times, very interesting, good stuff, and I'm very happy to see where it goes from here on out. But tell me your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you like this video, leave me a like, and if you didn't like this video, feel free to leave me a dislike and tell me what I did wrong in the comment section below. But until then, I want to thank you for joining me and suggest maybe subscribing for more Sonic IDW action. But until then, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!